How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about FuboTV. You guys know these are one of my high conviction plays, and it's been a minute since we spoke about it, but of course, the conditions we have inside the market, we see it pulling back, so I feel like it's due for an update video. So before we get started, of course, we got to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis. We want to take a look at the overall price action. And if the market conditions continue to pull back, where are some opportunities where we could take advantage of? And also, what do we want to look forward to in regards to FUBO looking bullish again? And then secondly, we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. I feel this is very key. We want to know, are institutions loading up? What are the inflows? What are the outflows? And then afterwards, we're going to be going on Fintel and taking a look at the short interest information. We want to see, what is the short volume ratio? What are the borrow fees? We want to know, is there a lot of negative sentiment around FUBO stock? We tend to see this especially when the short volume ratio is fairly high. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts. So let's jump into it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for FuboTV. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $25.97, being up 1.09%. On the low, it tested $25.54, and on the high, testing $28. When we take a look at the volume stats on the Friday, we traded at 9.99 million shares. And as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days, it is around 7.253 million. So it was above average, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some strength in the stock price on Friday. So the chart that we're using is actually the 1-year daily chart. Let's see how it lines up with our indicators here. So we can see from the RSI down below, it's at 40.71. So it is in the oversold territory. But even considering this, I still do feel like there is more room for it to potentially pull back. When we take a look at our indicators on the chart here, we can see that we are below the 21-day EMA. We're also below the 200-day, and we're also below the 100-day. So this is part of the reasons why I feel like there can be some more room for downward pressure. When I was telling you guys to load up on FUBO stock originally, it was right here around this $17 range. So that's why I say if FUBO actually goes below $20, of course, I'm going to be looking to add to my position. I feel it's good to load up on FUBO under 20 bucks. If it decides to even go down to, let's say, about the 24 range, or even down to the 20 or even the 22 range, this is not a bad area for anyone that might be considering an entry position. One thing we do know for sure, though, we do have some support for FUBO right at this $20 level. So even if it stays in that range between 20 and 25, if you can get into the lower 20 area, I feel like this is not a bad move, especially if you believe in the long-term prospects like myself and you have high conviction. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, it's this $28 level for now, because we ended up testing 28, and of course, being able to get past this will be psychological. So everybody knows we hit 28. Now we want to look forward to seeing that move where it could actually come to reclaiming the 21-day at 28.43. That's what I'll be looking forward to seeing a reversal or a bullish pattern from FUBO. But for the most part, if it decides to pull back, you guys do your homework, do your due diligence, and feel like what would be the best price range for you. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for FuboTV. So we can see here on the inflow, we had 55, and on the outflow, we had 60. We had 0 on the large for inflow, 40 on the medium, and we had 14 on the small. As far as for the outflow, we had 60, and on the medium, we had 46, and on the small, we had 14. Keep in mind, this is in the millions. When we take a look at the large-scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see it was 0 pretty much for the most part, except for July the 14th, when we had about an outflow day, which was 74. 0.17. So taking this into consideration, for the past 5 trading days, we haven't seen institutions loading up, but we did see an outflow on the 14th. So what does this mean? This just means institutions generally do not like to buy stocks, especially while they're running up or they're showing a lot of price strength. They want to make sure they're getting in at a really good price. So they just haven't looked at FuBo and said, well, you know what? I want to load up heavy or go in with large orders. But it is something that we need to be aware of, and it's part of the reasons why it has been on a bearish trend. And that's just why I always say that when this happens, it gives us the opportunity as a retail investor to take advantage of pullbacks, especially if we have high conviction. So now let's jump into the short interest information. So we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information for FuBo. So we see the short volume ratio being at 15.42%. When we take a look at the short shares availability, it is at 1.1 million, updated 9 minutes ago. And as far as for the short borrow free rate, it is at 0.98%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see on the 15th, it was at 15.42, and now it has gone up to 19.44, taking the close from Friday. So what does this mean? Yes, more volatility in FuBo stock, and it's part of the reasons why I'm saying to look out for those pullbacks, especially if we're interested in the long-term prospects. If we continue to have the volatility and the conditions we have inside of the market, growth stocks like FuBo will be impacted by this, and I just want to make sure that you guys are actually prepared for that. So for my final thoughts for FuboTV, this is going to continue to be one of my high conviction plays. Do understand, when we took a look at Fintel, we could see the most up-to-date short volume ratio is around 19%, and it has gone up from the previous day. So what does this mean? Yes, there is a lot more negative market sentiment around FuBo, but that's okay, especially if you do believe in this play long term, because it gives us the opportunity to get it at a really good price. I remember when I was telling you guys to load up when it was around $17 a share, many of you hated me for it, saying, oh, it's never gonna happen, it's already been down so much. But at the same time, this is a growth stock. So the best time to actually buy growth stocks is when they pull back or when they are correcting. So if we end up having this going on, especially for the rest of this week, or even if it's just a day or two, then that's an opportunity to add to your position, only if you like the company after doing your homework and as well as your due diligence. For myself, I made sure I got started out in the $17 range. So preferably, I'd want to be loading up either at that $20 level or below $20. At the high, I probably wouldn't go any higher loading up in regards to, let's say 21 bucks and so forth. So now, as far as demand for shares and people buying, yes, we are going to see this be decreased, because right now it's because of the trend, what's going on inside of the market. You already see when we have bull runs, there's a lot of buying going on, and it's part of the reasons why on this channel I'm really trying to break the habit of buying on bullish days. You want to buy on the red days while things are correcting, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of investors end up losing money, because they buy at the high. The focus is to buy at the low and sell on the high. But for myself, the potential that FuBo has in regards to their sports book that's going to be coming out later on in the year. We also got more information and updates as far as how they're establishing themselves. And also on their most recent earnings report, we saw a lot of growth there, especially as far as expanding their client base, so their subscribers. And also too, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they also have a deal with LG. So pretty much you buy one of LG smart TVs, you get FuBo that is pre-downloaded already. This is great exposure for the company overall in general. And as far as the possibilities of the streaming service, because they do focus on sports, we do know as of late it was in regards to the World Cup, getting that onto their system as well. But one thing we have to understand is the interactive betting aspect of FuBo. And I talked about this in previous videos before. And just to kind of give you guys a rough little example here is, just imagine Stephen Curry's at the free throw line. You could pretty much bet on whether he makes all his free throws or whether he misses one. And I think this is like really cool. Another example of this could be soccer. It's coming down to a field goal kick and you're betting on whether the kicker makes it or not. So I feel like these are great things that are going to be coming into the space, and FuBo is in the right position to actually take advantage of this, especially since they already have a big subscriber base already. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.